Waterloo Region District School Board hopes to challenge the disparities that we see in education. Destreaming is the educational system that we want to see for all our students. It's one where students all have access to rigorous curriculum, and it's one where all students still have the possibilities afforded to them after secondary school.
What surprises me the most about how students are responding to Destreaming is a lot of them say they're having fun. The classroom dynamic has really changed from, sitting at the desk, pencil, paper, worksheets, to students just engaging in dialogue and building off of each other's ideas, working on the vertical surfaces and just collaborating.
We believe deeply in the sense that success builds success, and as we work with our students, how do we continue to provide them more opportunities where they see themselves successful, they see themselves as students, and they see themselves as achieving academically, while at the same time feeling a great sense of belonging in the schools they're at.
We did a lot of whiteboard work, and I think that was really interesting on seeing how different people think in different other math problems, because some people are just really good at multiplication, or they just have really good mental math, while others draw it out. I think those were really interesting to learn the strategies that others use, and I think that it helped me interact with people with more in math, because usually in math it's I just do it by myself, but this allowed me to understand how other people approach it as well.
I think what surprised me the most about how students are responding to Destreaming is that it seems natural to them, that I think it's the adults that are hung up on needing to stream children and needing to put them in certain spaces and places and courses. I've seen students collaborating really well, working together and learning together in spaces that feel warm and inviting and feel like good learning is happening. I've really seen the change of students really being labeled at the end of grade 8 like this kid is applied, this kid is academic. And I've seen that shift to us talking more about here are the strengths, here are the needs.
This is the best, it's the best thing, Destreamed. I really am all for it. I'm passionate about it. It's just such an amazing thing. And I hope we can keep Destreaming, because it's wrong of us to try and streamline kids at such an early age. Not fair of us to be closing off their paths.
I remember grade 9 and a lot in grade 10 as well. We did a lot of group work together. And personally, that works better for me. I feel like making that decision from grade 9 might have been tough. So I'm kind of glad that it was kind of streamlined out and it made it flow better into whatever class I wanted to do.
I think it helped because it was just one class to get together. So you got to learn different strategies, everybody's strategies, because the teacher had to teach according to different people's learning. And so it wasn't really separated with how they would have academic and applied, so you just got to learn it as one.
I think the most common misconception about Destreaming is that we somehow lost something, that we lost a pathway that was somehow helpful to students. That is simply not the case. That pathway was not helpful to students. They graduated at a rate of 30% below those students who engaged in an academic pathway, and that was unacceptable. There was no status quo that was better than what we've got.
Large bodies of research have really determined that streaming is a very deliberate act. It's where we separate kids into particular categories. Now, what we've learned as a province and an education system is when we do this sifting and this sorting of students, it really happens to be along race, class, and gender lines. So it became apparent to school boards and to the ministry that this was something that needed to be addressed.
This is about a broader set of opportunities for all students, and that their student-specific needs will be addressed. So I think when parents are thinking about Destreaming, they're thinking about this is different from what I experienced, and how is this going to affect my child? And it's our job to reassure them that in fact it will affect your child in a positive manner.
By changing our pedagogy, and by changing the way we assess, and by changing the way we teach, we're opening up those access points for students.
My perspective coming from the school board to now being a principal is that the thing is happening and people are doing the work, and we're going to continue to engage in that work. I really, really feel there's no going back this time.
I think that the impact of not Destreaming is a bigger problem. So if we Destream and we leave the pathways open for them, I think that's going to help them much more than if we don't Destream and they have these doors closed before they even see the opportunities that they have ahead of them.
Central staff, teachers, administrators have all worked together to think about how do we make education better for young people. It really does take a village, and we found that village at the Waterloo Region District School Board.